Hello, everybody. What is going on? Hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday. Mine is just jam-packed with sickness. uh, kid's sick. Candace feels like crap. I'm probably gonna catch it, but either way, what can you do? Life goes on, right? So here we are, Wednesday. Got all kinds of cool stories to share with you guys. And if you have no idea who I am, my name is Jeremy. This channel is Exploring with the Nug. And here on my live streams, we like to talk about missing people awareness. Pretty much anything missing person stuff. And we also just like to hang out and have a good time. Pretty much just winging it, you know what I mean? So who are we going to talk about today? Man, there's crazy stories out of New Mexico where apparently there was numerous bone fragments and even like 10 to 20 skulls found out on somebody's property. And it might be linked to a missing person. We're going to cover that one. And there's another story where another skull was found in Arizona, and that was linked to another missing person. So technically, a missing person has been found. Sadly, deceased, but still, closure, right? And then there was a missing person who was found in a tanning bed. Sadly, he also passed away. We're going to dive into the details about that one. And then we're also going to cover yet another scam alert. You know, like I've talked about this a lot on, but Facebook puts out there's these posts that always come out all around the country and about these missing people. You know, like, hey, share this video, there's a missing person, or this kid showed up in the woods, help us identify him. All these stories that tug at the heartstrings, right? Well, there is another one going around, and so we're going to cover it again. So, guys, I got to get it out as much as I can that this scam going around Facebook is nothing more than a scam. And sadly, it's a really good one because it's really hard to second guess a missing person post, right? So we're going to go over what to look for, what not to do. Definitely don't be clicking links, stuff like that. We're going to go over that. And then also we're going to be diving into your comments, questions, concerns in the chat room. There's a Q&A form in the description down below, depending on where you're watching, if you want to ask questions to get them guaranteed to be read on the live stream. And also, if I see a question in the chat room, I'll try to answer it. If I miss it, my bad, but I'll do my best. Best thing for you guys to do, throw up a couple big capital Q's before your question, and I might spot it that way, right? And if I miss it, ask it again. I have no qualms with that. Hope you guys are I hope you guys had a good day. I guess we did have a good day, counting the days. This is the surgery eve, right, of Candace's kidney removal. Big day tomorrow, getting up bright and early, heading to the hospital. Hopefully everything goes off without a hitch, so to speak. And she gets to come home. She's gonna be staying overnight at the hospital, and then I get to bring her home Friday at some point, and then the healing begins. But let's just positive vibes, positive thoughts. Make sure you guys message her and all that stuff because she loves the fact that you guys are so supportive for us. Because at the end of the day, we're just a married couple just trying to live life and do what's right. So she kind of got a crappy end of the stick when it comes to surgeries and body parts and stuff because she's I don't know, you know what I'm saying? She has a great personality, spirit, soul, great heart. Physically, her body just doesn't like her that much. So she's been going through all kinds of crazy stuff since I've met her. But I think we might be rounding the bend, top the hill. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But let's just dive right into these stories. And the main story that we're going to be talking about today is all of these darn skulls that were found in New Mexico. And let me start off by showing you this news clip.
The Lee County Sheriff's Office says last Tuesday, Cecil Villanueva of jail made alarming statements to a man who was giving him a ride. The driver said Villanueva had 2 bags and tossed objects from the car that appeared to be human bones. Deputies searched near a convenience store and found human bone fragments, A search of Villanueva's home on South 4th Street revealed 10 to 20 human skulls. The sheriff's office says this case is tied to the disappearance of Angela McMains in 2019. McMains lived near Villanueva's home. The Office of the Medical Investigator is analyzing all of the remains. They're working to determine any connection to McMains or other victims.
So here's how it all started. Back on November 5th, like the story goes, a local resident gave a ride to a man who started saying some pretty disturbing things. At one point, the man actually threw what looked like human remains out of the car. So the resident went to the authorities, who then searched near a convenience store where the man was last seen. They ended up finding bone fragments. So this led them to a property, South 4th Street, which had already been rumored to be connected to human remains. Kind of a weird rumor, right? But all right. So on November 6th, officials searched the place and found more bones, including parts of a skull and jawbone. Then, just a few days later, on November 9th, when they went back and found even more remains, like 10 to 20 skulls. It's a big gap, too. You mean like 15 to 20, 10 to 15, but 10 to 20 skulls. They're now with the medical examiner in Albuquerque. So here's what's kind of weird. Now, the sheriff's office believes that these skulls may have been actually purchased online, which doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you purchase them online just to leave them out in the desert? That makes no sense. Michael Walker, the undersheriff, said they've confirmed that it's possible to buy real human bones online, and that they're now consulting with an anthropologist to figure out what's next. But there's another layer here, right? This property could be connected to a missing person. There's a woman named Angela McMains. McMains? We're going to say McMains. McManes. Now, she was last seen in Jal, or Jal. Y'all? Jal. I should have listened to the news story closer. We're going to say Jal on May 14th, 2019. Now, authorities are trying to determine if any of these remains are related to her disappearance or other possible victims. Now, if anyone knows anything about this case, obviously the sheriff's office is asking you to reach out. You can contact him directly or call Crime Stoppers. So the story also comes on the heels of another tragic discovery on the U.S.-Mexico border, where a volunteer group in Mexico recently found charred bones at a suspected cartel extermination site. These sites, sometimes called narco kitchens, are where cartels dispose of their victims in a really disturbing way, often through burning or dissolving remains. Now, both these stories are really grim, and they remind us of the ongoing investigations and the challenges faced with identifying and providing closure for victims and their families. So, right off the bat, what do you guys think? My first thoughts of this are, first of all, if you don't just go online, I don't think, this is just me thinking here, you don't just go online and purchase human bones just to do that, right? Now, I don't even know if you can actually do that as a civilian. Like, do you have to be associated with a hospital, a school? Is there some reason why you're purchasing real human bones, right? I didn't think just anybody can do that, but I could be wrong. Maybe you can get them off eBay. Hell, I don't know. But hold on. So, and then the fact to say, like, oh, well, they might have been purchased online. There's 10 to 20 skulls, and somebody just decided to get rid of them. They're doing a little bit of house cleaning, so they decided to throw all their human bone collection out in the desert. I'm calling no, right? That's my personal thoughts. I say no. I don't think so. I think this is probably linked to some kind of, like what they were saying about the cartel extermination site, because it is right near the border, right? So, and then that the fact that they might be able to link some of these bones to a missing woman, Angela McMains. So that could be cool, but who's all the other skulls belong to, right? Possible satanic rituals. True, but why would you leave your props out in the desert? I would think you would take them with you, because you want to use them for another ritual down the road. That's a lot of bones if you think about it. Each skull belonged to a human, and they may be able to link one to this Angela lady. Who do all these other bones belong to? How many missing people are we talking about? Are these even Americans? Are they undocumented people? Are they people from Mexico? Or who knows where really that crossed the border? And I don't know, got like a mass killing right there. Like they said, a narco kitchen, so to speak, right? I bet this happens more times than you think, especially around the border. Cartels are the devil. I mean, every story you hear about them, it's never a good one. They do horrible things to people. It's all about money. It's all about drugs and power. And outside looking in, I've never met a cartel member, but I'm pretty sure I don't wanna. I don't think we'd get along. I feel like I would get the bad end of the stick. So let's just stay away from them. Gotta go through forensics to identify DNA. Absolutely. And Stacy Price dropping 5 memberships for 5 lucky people to become a member of the channel. Thank you so much. And WC, my team purchases from the boneyard or the farm off the internet all the time. But your team, you're purchasing bones for the boneyard, right? Or from the boneyard. I assume you're not just a collector. You're not making necklaces to sell on eBay or something. I'm assuming there's a reason why you're buying bones, right? And I'm sure if you're buying bones from the boneyard, you're not leaving them out in the desert. It's not a one-time use thing, right? Unless you have a boneyard too, and you're doing some kind of experiment, scientist, stuff like that. But yeah, if I buy a bunch of bones, why am I going to leave them out in the out there? And these are just skulls they found. They're not only skulls. We're talking about other bones, bone fragments. So chances are these were whole skeletons, right? So who knows? This sounds like it has a really dark story to it, but who knows if anyone will ever figure out what that story is. But do you think he is a skull farmer? I don't know if you're joking or if that's a real thing, but I don't think so. There's going to be an update to this story, though, because this is a pretty weird story, to say the least. But I don't know. We're just going to sit around and find out, unfortunately, because I don't know. Man, Stacy Price dropping 5 more memberships for 5 more lucky people, including Juggler, Mama Bear, the nameless Ghoul Air, Lisa, mother of 2 rescues, Paula Chapin. Man, look at that. Awesome. 10 new members right there because of Stacy. Thank you. So, pretty crazy story. Deer were just acting strange at my job today at the summer camp on the lake, wanting to get close to people. That is pretty weird. Usually when wild animals want to get close to people, it's because they're foaming at the mouth and they're quite angry, like a raccoon or a fox. I've never seen a rabid deer, but sometimes maybe, totally off topic, obviously, very ADD squirrel moment. Maybe those deers were trying to get a human to help them do something. You ever seen mama deers go to a human because their baby deer may have fell in a pool or is tangled up in a fence or a soccer net? I've seen those videos. It's possible. Maybe them deers are trying to tell you something. I don't know. Just be lucky it wasn't a bear, because I don't know if I could deal with a bear just walking up asking for help. You could have met a drug cartel member and never knew it. True. Very true. Not many questionable figures in the area I live in, at least up here in the quiet hills of North Georgia. But closer to Atlanta, you absolutely correct. You never know. Could be the nicest person I've ever met, but it was all just a gimmick to get what they wanted, and then I'm another statistic. Never know. Yeah, they might have needed help, should have followed them. Back to the deer. Yep, you never know. Deer, animals need help just like anyone else. So, and remember, I'm learning these live streams, trying to figure stuff out, talking to you guys, I'm trying to pay attention to the chat, but at the same time, I'm looking over here and here, and I don't want to get all weird so, if you notice something is off about the live stream, like, oh man, I can't hear you. Oh, it's glitchy. Oh, you look so weird. Oh man, you're, stuff like that. By all means, drop it in the chat and I'll try to fix it. I want to put on a good live stream for you guys. So the next story I want to tell you guys about is this. Man, I'm all over the place. Joanne, let's see here. Is this other skull found in Arizona, and it was linked to a missing person? Check it out.
Tomorrow would have marked the 2-year anniversary of Joanne's disappearance. Her niece telling me today they're feeling a slight sense of relief and closure. As time went on, they knew the chances of their loved one being found alive was nearly non-existent. The last time Joanne was seen alive, November 13th, 2022 in Anthem. Joanne's husband woke up to find his wife was gone, her car and phone still inside the home. All this time, they thought they would never get answers as to what happened. Then this morning, Bertha says they got a call from the sheriff's office telling them they found a skull in New River and identified it as Joanne.
Now, I immediately, when I was listening to that story, and I was sitting next to Candace, and it reminded me that Adam and myself and all these other search teams out there, most of them, we dive by trade, scuba diving, right? We're always in the rivers and lakes diving on cars and stuff. But do we ever, how much time do you think we ever spend in the river doing a real, like, thorough grid pattern search, right? Back and forth and back and forth, up and down, a real true to God grid search, right? Now, my first thought was I had an idea and I thought it was a great idea, and I even have all the damn equipment, and I have never had a chance to really get motivated enough to do this, but I really should, because I think it would pay off. My thought process was, now we all know rivers have currents. Some are stronger than others. It's kind of difficult to scuba dive in rivers, depending on the current, but it can be done, obviously. So my thought process was, okay, well, what if, let's say I took 100 foot of rope, right? I even bought a harness, a climbing harness, right? And even the little thing, a rappelling doodad that you hook onto your harness to rappel, right? Think of mountain climbing, down, rappelling, right? So I was thinking, okay, what if I took all of that, put it on, went scuba diving, and I took one end of the rope, and I hooked it onto a rock, or I took like a grappling hook with me and I stuck it in the ground. And then I proceeded to rappel with the current. Essentially, I'm just drifting downstream while holding onto the rope and going all the way one side and all the way to the other side. I'll let out a little bit, back and forth. And just think about it. You just zigzag all the way down until you reach the end of the 100-foot rope. And then your grid pattern search is done, and then you pull yourself back up to the beginning, unhook, pack it up, and see what you found, right? Now, we always dive. We do treasure hunting, all that cool stuff too. We always just dive and swim aimlessly no matter where we're going, right? All over the place. Are we really covering ground thoroughly? I would say not as good as we could. But if I used this system, this grid search system, you think it would be a way better thorough search. And the reason I'm mumbling about this so long is there are a lot of missing people, not in vehicles, but very well could be in bodies of water. Now, this lady's skull, Joanne, her skull was found in a river, right? You know there are skulls, there are remains. It is the best, quickest way for somebody who has done something bad to somebody else to drive over a bridge late at night, throw them off the bridge, drive away, right? Now, I'm sure that happens more times than you can count. How many bones and remains and skulls and all this other stuff is laying at the bottom of a river? You know the kind of stuff, excuse me. You know how much stuff we have found just aimlessly swimming around underwater, right? Before we really got into the missing person stuff and we were just treasure hunters, right? I have found Civil War stuff. I've found Civil War muskets, 150 some odd year old items just laying there at the bottom of the river, frozen in time until we found these things, right? Not even buried, just laying there like a rock, right? Cannonballs have been found, right? Revolutionary War treasures have been found in the rivers, are still being found in the rivers, and they're just laying there. They were just dropped hundreds of years ago, and then somebody like me comes along and finds them. So it's not too far-fetched to think, what about human remains, right? But it's hit or miss. If we're just swimming around out there blindly, it's like, let's go over here, let's go over here. We really have no idea how much ground we're actually covering versus, what we missed. A grid pattern search, though, like if we're really serious, and the reason I keep saying this is the story I wanted to share with you was the twins, the Millbrook twins out of Augusta, Georgia. Two little girls vanished without a trace, probably kidnapped, sadly. And I've always wondered, what if they got thrown? What if something bad happened to them and they ended up in the river? Like, what if their remains, which are, it's been a while, are just bones now, just laying there next to a rock? A skull would look just like a rock unless you really pay attention to what you're touching. Just like a cannonball. Cannonball looks just like a rock until you really get down there and start examining it. Nugget Noggin, the treasure hunter guy. He finds cannonballs all the time, and he was telling me, he was like, yeah, you got to touch every single rock, right? Because it looks like a rock until you put your hands on it. You're like, oh, it's smooth and round. You pick it up, it's a cannonball, yay. Same exact concept. So long little discussion there about the story, but I'm just outside, just thinking here, thinking of ideas. I think, like, if you had a good idea, I mean, why not try? Like I say, like, this bridge was the closest bridge to where they went missing. If somebody threw them off the bridge, obviously they would drift a little bit downstream, and then they would sink. And then for some reason, they were never seen again. They deteriorated. There's nothing but bones left. Not too far downstream from bridges, I would think that's where you would start finding human remains. So I don't know. I think it's definitely something we should try. I don't see why not. It wouldn't hurt anything. We're always diving in the river anyway, so why not take a rope and actually do a real grid pattern search, I don't know. Sounds good. Let me see here. Nug, are your kids scared for mom, or are they being brave? They are being brave. We are treating this as no big deal. It's just another day. It's just another doctor visit. Mom has been in the hospital quite a few times since the children have been born. They're kind of, they get it, right? She's had a few surgeries so far. This will be, I think, the biggest surgery. Like, I don't think she cares, but like she had the gallbladder removal, and then while they was doing that, they discovered the what do you call that? What do you call the little dingle dangle appendix? They found that it was ruptured, so they had to dig out all the scar tissue. She's had her girdle parts taken out, so she's no stranger to having parts of her removed. But I think the kidney it could be arguably the biggest surgery. It could be 2 to 4 hours. Everything goes right. She's going to stay the night and get to come home Friday. So we are downplaying it. We don't want to make the kids nervous. I'm nervous myself. I'm downplaying it. I know she's watching right now. She's downplaying it. We're all downplaying it. It's no big deal. Another day at the office. But in here, obviously, we're all pretty nervous. But everything's going to be fine, right? Everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. You with me? You guys are praying for me. We're praying for. Everybody's praying. No complications. It's going to be a good surgery. Is there still no sign of Demetria Watson? No sign. But I have plans when Candace gets better to head back down there. There are a few more spots that I have found that I want to search. I feel like they are credible, and I feel like it makes a lot of sense. So her case has not been forgotten. Nobody's forgetting about her. Yeah, but as of right now, still cold. No one knows where she went. But no, you can't live without kidneys. Luckily, she's only losing one. And you can live a fine, full, beautiful life with just one kidney. If both of them go, you're going to need a new one. Dialysis will keep you alive for a little bit, but ultimately, but we're not going to worry about that, right? She's going to be fine. So let's go up here. Kidney removal isn't that problematic, even though risks with every surgery. Absolutely. I mean, I could have outpatient surgery to get a an ingrown toenail removed, and I could die. You know, it does happen, but we're not going to think about that. You know, you're going to give me nightmares if you guys keep bringing it up. So let's move on to another story. So this one right here, I have out. You know what? I do have something to show you. I'm going to show you his picture really quick. I got it here on my computer screen, and now look at this tall goofball right here. Look at that face. Isn't that the face of a winner? Man, sounds like a winner to me. Well, it's not. He is definitely not. That man right there. He's been arrested after investigators connected him to a case involving two people who've been missing and out of contact with their family since 2022. And I'm sure you guys could figure it out, but for some reason, the news stories I was reading, they're keeping these missing people's names out of the news story. So it's almost like they're still investigating, but they don't want to release any details until they know they're correct. That could be a possibility. But here's what we know. So back in June, the Leon County Sheriff's Office got word about an adult and a child who'd gone missing. Now, they were added to the National Crime Information Center as missing persons, with their families saying they hadn't heard from them since July of 2022. That kicked off an investigation, and after months of work, some new information surfaced. And on October 22nd of 2024, deputies with the Sheriff's Criminal Investigation Division carried out a search warrant in Buffalo. And that is where they found human remains. And they were sent to the Center for Human Identification at the University of North Texas in Fort Worth to confirm their identity. So maybe that's why they're not releasing names. They don't want to get people's hopes up, but who knows? So they dug deeper, and authorities identified a suspect they believe is connected to the case. And on Tuesday, November 12th, which was yesterday, they took Michael Dean Davis Jr. into custody in Laredo, Texas. And he's now being held in the Webb County Jail on a murder charge. I'm thinking maybe 2 murders? I'm not sure, but it says a murder charge and has a bond of $3 million. I don't know why they set a bond that's so high, but it's still possible, right? I mean, I think murder used to be 1 million or something like that. Now it's like 3 million, 5 million. Why not just say no bond, right? I mean, I don't know. Like, why give him a chance? Because technically, what is he only has to come up with like 10% of that? Really depends on the stipulation. Like, you get arrested nowadays, like, oh, you have a $1,000 bond, then you call a bail bondsman, they only have to pay $100. So I don't know. It's kind of weird, but even still, why not just say no bond? You're not leaving jail. So maybe it's because he looked so amazingly, I don't know, just stupid. So the sheriff's office said they're still investigating and they haven't released any more details just yet. So I'm kind of curious who it is, to be honest with you. I bet maybe a little more digging around, you guys might be able to figure it out. But Michael Dean Davis Jr. out of Laredo, Texas. I was digging through YouTube, couldn't find any stories about that. Nobody's really diving into this too much. But at least these missing people are being found. So it's still possible, right? Let me see. Did they ever find the man whose truck was on the train tracks and you found the remote control car? I don't think so. I haven't heard much, if anything, about that. Now, I imagine it's local here in Georgia. I imagine that would have hit the news and I would have heard about it. But from what I know, no, he hasn't been found. So, I don't know. I don't want to tarnish the name of missing people, but after we did search for that gentleman, there was stories coming out that he wasn't actually a good person towards having a criminal record. I didn't want to put too much thought into that at the time, but at the same time, it kind of like, it's kind of like certain crimes. You're just like, well, I kind of don't want to search anymore, but I already invested the search, so I was leaving that out of the story, to be honest with you. But I don't know, it kind of tarnishes the motivation, you know what I mean? So let's see here. I have kidney failure, so understand what she's going through. We'll pray for her. Dang, man, that sucks. So without even paying attention, man, we got a nice big audience tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching. I noticed there's a whole bunch of you guys coming here from Rumble. That is super cool. I don't judge me, all you other people watching from other platforms who don't like Rumble, because I love it. I personally bought 17 shares of Rumble stock today. Yes, I did. I don't know why. I just like the platform, and it just feels like the platform is destined for great things. You never know. It might blow up, and I might be able to afford new toys. You just never know. But either way, it's kind of fun. I was going to buy some Tesla stock, but that stuff's spendy. It's like $330 a share. I was like, I don't have that. So, covered the kidneys and digestive system in medical terminology class. Cool. Let me see here. All right, what else we got? We got a man who was found sadly deceased in a tanning bed. And the story's got a lot of question marks, but I'm pretty sure we could piece it together. But check out this news story.
This man was reported missing on Friday after coming here to the gym. However, he wasn't found until Monday morning inside of the tanning bed here. And keep in mind, this was all while the gym was open over the weekend. And the biggest question this morning is, how did this go unnoticed?
Man. So, this, like, oh my gosh. So, all right, let's just jump right into this here. So, the Indiana police are looking into the death of a man that they found in a tanning bed at a Planet Fitness, and this happened Monday morning, right? The man's name is Derek Sink. He was 39 years old. The dogs are going nuts for some reason. They love barking at night. And let me see. He was identified by the Marion County Coroner's Office. Now, what's strange here is that Derek actually went into the tanning bed a few days earlier on Friday, right? Now, his family expected him home, but when he didn't show up, they reported him missing. Investigators then realized that he was wearing an ankle monitor, and that showed that he hadn't left the gym. They eventually found him still in the tanning bed at Planet Fitness Monday morning. Now, it gets stranger. So Derek's family shared that he'd had a history of struggles with drugs, and when they found him, there was a needle in the room. So he'd been facing some legal issues also related to drug possession, and court records show he was sentenced to home detention with drug testing just a few months ago. Apparently he was allowed to go to the gym, though. What's puzzling here is how he went unnoticed for so long, almost 3 days. A member of Planet Fitness mentioned that she and others had noticed a strong smell around the tanning rooms that morning. And she wondered how no one had noticed the tanning bed being closed for so long. Yeah, so the Planet Fitness team put out a statement saying they're deeply saddened by Derek's passing and they're fully cooperating with authorities in the investigation, yada, yada, yada. Same old song and dance with these corporations, but they emphasized that they have safety protocols in place and they're working closely with the franchisee to make sure everything is being handled according to those standards. Right now, there's no word of official cause of death, and the Indianapolis police are still investigating. Well, okay, so right off the bat, I immediately going to look over here to the chat room, and the first question I see is, didn't anyone smell something cooking? Now, I thought the same thing, right? But at the same time, when you go to a tanning booth, tanning bed, whatever, as you can tell, I'm an avid tanner, you know? Look at that tan, right? It's good stuff. I do not go to the tanning bed. I'm making all that up. You get in, you set a timer, and you put your little weird glasses on, and you chill and listen to your music until the timer, like the lights, the thing clicks off, and you're done. There's a timer on these things, right? So I don't think he would be sitting there cooking for 3 days, right? I think the timer would have went off. Now, I also was thinking, okay, so he had a drug problem. There was a needle there. He shot up something. Let's say he shot up some heroin. Let's say it was a bad shot, and he died when it hit. So he did his tanning session, but he's dead. The tanning bed kicks off, and that's where he stays until he was found. 3 days, though? So, and here's another thing. Here's negligence right here. Every night, right, or multiple times a day, I'm assuming somebody who works there goes in and cleans the tanning bed, right? Windexes it, something, cleans it up because it's all mucky. Somebody's in there sweating all the time, gonna get ringworm and all that stuff. So they go in there and clean it multiple times a day, right? That's what you would think. Was anybody cleaning these tanning beds ever? I'd highly doubt it, because a dead body was sitting in the tanning bed for 3 days, and they weren't closed on the weekends. They're open every day. So every day people are coming and going, walking by, I guess, a locked door and not thinking anything of it. Is there any other customers showing up to possibly want to tan? How many tanning beds are in this place? Is there just one? Is there 10? I mean, why would anybody working there completely just not notice something's off? Why is this door locked? What is that smell? What happened to the guy that was here Friday? His truck's still here. His stuff. So many red flags, right? Now, granted, could any of these things I just said save that man's life? If that drug was involved, because there was a needle on the floor, he shot up and he died, I'd say no. But to not find him through the entire weekend, I think that's a little that's pretty bad, sanitary wise, because you already know, just hearing this story, there is some serious lack of work ethic at this place, because they're obviously not cleaning their equipment. They're not cleaning the rooms at the end of, the work day. They're not closing up shop properly. They're just shutting the doors and leaving. So they closed up. Now, Planet Fitness is open 24 hours, though, so maybe the tanning salon is open 24 hours, too. Maybe that's the only thing. But still, people have jobs, right? You vacuum every day, every night. You dust, you keep the place clean. Everybody has jobs. You remember jobs, right? People have things to do at jobs. Makes sense, right? And a tanning bed, a tanning salon, I would think sanitation is top priority, right? Because if you jump into a tanning bed, it's dirty from sweaty people, you get nasty stuff on your skin, right? We'll just say ringworm, because that was a big thing when I was in high school with wrestling, because if you don't clean the mats, you get ringworm. I had it. It was I felt dirty, but yeah, how crazy is that though? So it went all those days and they're like, what's that smell? Oh no. And then they finally opened the door, like, ew. He's, oh God, that's so bad. So, like I said, they don't know the official cause of death. If I had to put money on it, I would say accidental overdose, dirty shot, like tainted heroin or whatever else he was shooting up. But I don't think he was murdered. I don't think he was cooked. None of that stuff. But still, 3 days laying there, nobody figured it out. That's crazy to me. I would think someone's getting fired from that one. I was like, man, it's obvious you're not cleaning. The place is dirty. So that's just nuts. A tanning bed should be cleaned after every person uses it. Absolutely. I think I've seen some tanning salons or tanning beds, whatever you call these places, where they assume that the person who used the tanning bed gets out, puts their clothes on, and then they clean up after themselves. I think that's a thing. But at the same time, how you gonna trust the customer? You got this big old dude come in there and he lays down, he tans, gets up. He ain't gonna want to clean. He's gonna want to jump in the shower and leave, right? So I would say shenanigans on that one. But yeah, after every person gets out, it should be cleaned. Like, just so yeah, 3 days. Oh my gosh, it's crazy, right? I wonder if he was a member. Did he break in after hours? But still, why didn't they check it? I don't think he broke in. Like, he went there to tan. Like, it was, and it's open. There's no after hours, I don't think. Hold on a second. Like I said, I think all the Planet Fitnesses are 24 hours. I don't know if the tanning beds are 24 hours. They might be. But still, that doesn't mean that there's no reason to not find them. Did you see the woman found dead in a Walmart oven? I did hear the story. It was pretty gruesome, but then also I saw some videos of they debunked it. Like, there was no way to get trapped inside, like something like that. There was no way to, I guess somebody was showing a video with the oven. I don't think the actual oven, but with an oven, And they're like, see, there's no locking mechanism. You can push, the door opens. There's a handle inside the door. And I don't know the follow-up to this story, obviously. But from what I was seeing, there's videos of them trying to debunk it, that it was Walmart's fault. It was more like deliberate. I don't know, though. But yes, I did hear about that. It was gruesome, no matter what happened. But let's see. I worked in a salon. The insurance requires a lock over the timer. And I imagine Planet Fitness has got all. I'm sure they got to follow that stuff too, right? Because it's a big company. Planet Fitness in California is not 24 hours, but janitors are required to clean. Was this place in? Where was this? Marion County. I forget what this. I don't know. I don't know if it was in California or not, but still, like you said, people still clean, right? It's not like, yeah. Tanning beds aren't 24 hours anymore. So there you go. So like they closed up. I'm guessing like they, like when it was time to close, they turned the sign around. It's closed. They did their chores, vacuum, clean up every place, Windex, take the trash out, all that stuff. You remember, and they never figured out that there was still a customer in the tanning bed. Now I don't know how they missed that. Not once, but Friday night, Saturday night, 3 nights in a row of somebody not doing their job right. And ultimately they're leaving the customer there all night, right? Like, it's bad. It's bad. Somebody's getting canned. I guarantee it. I don't see how they could be sued negligence, because like I said, I don't think it's their fault he died. But it's definitely, it looks bad on them that they're obviously not cleaning up after the end of the night. Where I go tan, the girls out front set the timer. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. They know you went in there, and when the timer goes off, if you don't come out, I'm assuming they go back there and beat on the doors like, "Hey, get out," stuff like that. So there should also be a sign. Absolutely, there should be so many things that tells you there's still somebody in the tanning bed. How did these people not have any of these safeguards set up, so to speak? That's so wild. So either way, that's bonkers. That's straight bonkers. So let's talk scams, shall we? And I know you guys have seen these things, but we're going to talk about it again, because if they're getting more common, and they're getting more sad, right? And they're man, I saw one the other day. I'll tell you about it here in a minute. Watch this story.
Kansas law enforcement agencies have been warning the public for weeks about missing persons and abused children Facebook posts. The posts often include pictures that are intended to pull at your heartstrings, but authorities say be careful. These are scams.
Take a look at this. What appears to be an urgent message posted to a Wichita Classifieds Facebook group. It's meant to tear at your heartstrings. It shows a picture of a child with injuries. The post claims someone dropped off the local child at a police station, with no indication of where the child lives. It pleads with members of the group to share the post. However, the Sedan, Kansas Police Department says posts like these are part of an elaborate scam. The department says once the post begins to trend, the wording is changed, usually to a real estate listing, with a link that promises a cash prize where data and money can be stolen. Posts like these have been making their way around the social media community in Wichita. Yeah.
So, I don't know, I'm sure this is not a new thing. This is a thing that's been happening for a little bit now, and it's everywhere, and it's always like this sad story. And then like the first thing you want to do is hit that share button. And I figured out some more details about these things to protect yourself. For starters, I don't know why, but it seems like every one of these posts that come out on Facebook, they have 2 pictures that are the same picture. Did you notice that? Now that's not always true. Like I've seen them before where it's just 1 picture, but a lot of them, for some reason, it's 2 of the exact same picture. That's a first little thing to trigger, be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't hit that share button. But also this, they seem to show up in Facebook groups like that make no sense why they would show up. We're talking like garage sales, flea markets, stuff like that. Buy, sell, trade type Facebook groups, right? Local groups in your town. I've heard of them in other groups too, but groups that really have nothing to do with missing people, right? It makes no sense. It's just totally random. So that's another thing. Like if you're shopping, if you're on a garage sale thing, like I don't know, Omaha garage sale Facebook group, and then all of a sudden this missing child pops up, like that should be your second red flag. So remember that, right? Okay, so third, and this is the one that I didn't know because I couldn't understand, how are they actually scamming you? Because at first you just see a picture, like for instance, one that got me good was we found this child in the woods and we can't figure out who he or she is. She won't speak. They show a picture of a dirty child in a hospital bed, tubes in its throat. It's super sad. They make it sound super sad. Help us share this post. See if we can figure out who this child belongs to. We can figure out what this child's name is. Something like that. And the first thing, without even thinking about it, subconsciously, you hit that share button. No, don't do that. And I finally figured out what they do. They create these posts and they're super sad. And the first thing you want to do is hit that share button. And then it starts trending. And then more and more people start sharing it. And then before you know it, it's like a little mini viral post. And that's when whoever started this scam, they will go into the post and they will change up the wording a little bit and they will add a link. And then next thing you know, before you even know it, and that's when all these people are seeing this post, because it's trending and it's gone viral and all that stuff, people will start clicking that link because they want to hear more. They want to see what more of the story is like. Click here to read the full story type links, right? That clicking the link gets them in the door, right? And then it depends on the kind of scam it is. If it's a phishing scam, they might ask you some questions, be like, oh, help us out, something like that. Or like enter your information to win something like that. But once it starts trending and it gets popular, that's when they plant the seed to try to get you to click that link. So remember that. Remember these posts. And here's one came through. It was super local, and Candace was like, "Oh my gosh, look at this!" And we was both fooled by it, but luckily Candace slowed her roll and she looked into it a little bit and found out it was a scam. They were talking about a missing Kennesaw, Georgia police officer who's went missing. We need your help locating him, stuff like that. And the very first thing, obviously, I want to do is figure out what's going on. Where did he go? All that stuff. So I'm instantly hooked. I'm like, oh man, see what you can figure out. And Candace is searching and then she quickly figures out, no, it's a scam. They found out the picture wasn't even a Kennesaw, Georgia cop. It was somebody in New York, and I don't know. Long story short, it's a horrible scam, and these people they've figured it out. This is a great scam because people have hearts and they tug at the heartstrings. You know what I mean? So, man, this is another thing that you got to watch about, because we all know how we like the missing person, all that stuff. But people will scam you at anything. It's almost like thieves. My dad used to say this to me. He's like, you can't leave anything out, right? Like, your assumption that no one will steal that's a piece of crap, right? Lawnmower, stuff like that. My dad was like, and I'll be blunt with you here. My dad's like, let me tell you something. You can leave a bucket of shit out on the side of the road. Somebody's gonna steal it. Somebody's gonna steal anything, right? So it's the same concept. It's wild. Yeah, that was my dad. He used to have. I don't know if you guys have parents like this, but he used to have like the cool one-liners, like old school, old stuff. Like he said one time, it was raining. It was raining harder. It was a big rainstorm. He's like, it's raining harder than a cow pissing on a flat rock. I was like, huh. I'll be damned. That's a hell of a thing to say. All right. When I was in basic training, I heard a lot of horrible things that I don't want to share here. But one of them that wasn't so bad was you're more effed up than a soup sandwich, right? And I think they said this to try to get you to laugh, because if you laugh, then you had to do push-ups. You're like, oh, go on ground and all that stuff. But man, when I heard that, he's like, you're more messed up than a soup sandwich. And I'm just like, oh, like that was the coolest thing I ever heard. I was like, where do they come up with these? It's so crazy. So, what is that website you can go to so you can check the facts? What kind of facts? You got to narrow that one down for me. Melissa Robinson, check the facts. I'm not sure what you mean, but let me see here really quick. Let's jump over here and see about these darn questions. Ooh, look at that. Okay. So let's dive into the Q&A form that I put out there. See what you guys have to say. Let me see. Have you thought of? Okay, so I think I didn't delete some of these. Let's from Monday. So let's go down here to. Bear with me. I think, let me see, Christine from Northern California. Just want to say thank you for the podcast. Greatly enjoy it. Thank you for your service. Thank you very much. I think this was Monday, but still I'm reading it again. And keeping good thoughts and prayers for Candace for Thursday and healing. Awesome. Have you heard any update on Jared? Have you heard an update on Jared? What is that called? Not parentheses. Spit on the ground. I haven't heard any updates. You sound great. Awesome. Yes, I've heard all kinds of it. I don't want to really dive into it right here because, we're all tired of talking about him. I'm tired of talking about him. He's dead to me as far as I'm concerned. But if you want to know anything and everything about Jared or Adventures with Purpose, I suggest just get on YouTube and search Jared Lysick, because an abundant supply of live streams and videos will pop up where people are explaining exactly what he did, exactly what happened, the outcome, the closure, all that stupid stuff, right? That is the best place to get all the information. I could sit here and bitch and complain about him all the time, but there are still supporters of that channel, and I don't want to hate on you guys. I don't want to hate on them. I don't want to start any drama. I'm done with it. I'm over it. I believe what I believe, and that's it. The justice system, apparently, it is what it is. So definitely, if you got any questions, concerns, comments, whatever, just go search on YouTube. Lots of people have filled it in. Also, Reddit, there's a page dedicated to this, actually. If you search his name on Reddit, it'll pop right up. And even on X or Twitter. It's everywhere. It's not a big secret, to be honest with you. Let me see here. If you don't want a box of DVDs, what would you do so your followers could buy something that lasts about the videos you do of the recoveries of vehicles? Me personally, I would buy DVDs, as I don't think they are outdated. Thank you for all you do, from Vesti. Man, I mean, it's one thing. Like, if I had somebody to do it for me, I'd be all for it. But I'm kind of tapped out when it comes to like doing all this stuff. I don't think I could find the time or motivation to make DVDs to sell, ultimately, because all the videos are already online, YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. So I don't know what more that would bring. Now, remember when I made the melted aluminum tokens? Or like had little nug helmets on and stuff. I made a few of those. Those sold like hotcakes. People loved those. But it was a lot of manual labor. I had to melt down the aluminum. I had to chop up the aluminum, melt down the aluminum, all that stuff, right? Holy smokes! Sorry. And go from there. But moving forward, I do have a new smelting pot, something like that. But I've never even used it yet. I bought it for that reason of bringing home stuff to melt down and create little river treasure stuff. Might get into that again, I don't know. Also, the nug bags, I don't know if you remember those. I had these little wool bags that I put little treasures in, coins, rocks, little doodads I found on the rivers. Those also sold like hotcakes. Might get into that again, I just don't know. But we'll see what happens. It's kind of it's just a lot. It's just a lot. I don't want to overwork myself and burn myself out, but we'll see what happens. Let me see here. Vesti also told me to remember to contact Simon Squibb, the entrepreneur. Might be able to assist me. I'm definitely going to do it. You're not going to let me forget. I'm loving it. Thank you so much for keeping my forgetful mind going. Have you heard anyone about the Have you heard any more about the hush hush in Houston? They were tearing a house apart. I haven't. From like the last thing that you guys were, that you watched the video with me, the news stories, the EquiSearch team, you know what I'm talking about, out of Texas, they weren't heavily involved. They were excavating a backyard looking for remains. I'm assuming they didn't find anything because I didn't see any update to that story. So I don't know. I have no idea who they were looking for, what they were looking for, but maybe something will pop up. Maybe we'll figure something out later on. Let me see here. You previously said her kidney was good, and I was wondering if she would be able to donate it. Great question, because I asked the doctor myself. She's also asked the doctor, but come to find out, if the tubes and the plumbing are not good, then you can't donate the kidney, sadly, which blows my mind. But Candace has a really good kidney, right? Here's her kidney. The tubes that come off her kidney that run down to the bladder, right? You with me? Normally they're straight and they just go down in there, right? Well, Candace's is like, it's like a Tetris piece. It's just all over the darn place. And that's the problem. Her tubing is all messed up. So she's already had surgery to repair it and fix it. And it worked. 6 years later, the problem came back, and now they can't fix the fix. The tubes have already been attempted. It's just not worth it to attempt it again because they already know it's not going to last. So sadly, they have to remove. The only other option is pulling out the kidney, and it sucks because the kidney is fine, but the plumbing is not, and there's no way to fix it. We've asked a million different questions. We tried to figure it out, and ultimately this is the last option. But I was like, why can't they use the old, like, my kidney's bad, but my plumbing's good, so keep the plumbing and take the new kidney and hook it up. But apparently when you donate a kidney or they harvest a kidney from a victim of some sorts, a kidney donator, they take the kidney and the tubes. It's a complete package, right? So when they put the kidney in somebody, they also put the tubings in there connected to the kidney into the bladder. So no, she can't donate it. But she's asked. She's like, obviously she's not going to get to bring it home. A little squishy stress ball. She don't get to do that. So yeah, it sucks. But apparently the doctors say no. Unfortunately, if the plumbing isn't good, then there's no way we can reuse the kidney anyways, because essentially they'd be giving Candace's problem to another person. You know what I mean? So nope. Sadly, nope. Did you hear about the guy in Wisconsin who faked his drowning and moved to Eastern Europe? I did. My last live stream, that was what that live stream was mainly about, was that. I want you to go watch that live stream and tell me how I did. But yes, I definitely heard about that, and it's crazy, but he ain't getting away with it. Eventually, he's going to have to answer for what he's done. He wasted a lot of time. He wasted a lot of man hours, money, equipment. So that doesn't go unnoticed, especially with people who have tight budgets, so to speak. There's a nonprofit there, Bruce's Legacy, who was searching for this person who wasn't even out there, and they ended up damaging some of their equipment in the search. So it costed them money out of their own pocket. So yeah, he's going to be held accountable one way or another. You just don't get to fake your death and walk away from your family and expect everything to be okay. That's messed up. If you hate it so much, file for a divorce. I'm guessing he didn't want to pay the whole divorce thing. I don't want to pay for child support. I don't want to give my wife half the stuff. So I'm just gonna come up with this plan that I died, and I'm gonna go to Uzbekistan and meet up with some hot chick that I met online. That's what I'm thinking. She can donate it to science. True. And I don't think, no. Obviously that's not a problem. They get to do what the hell they want with it. So I'm like, hey, you could take it and donate it to science. So absolutely. What happened to the missing guy on the military base? Went missing before he was released. There were two of them. I talked about one a while ago. He was found. He was safe. I thought it was messed up because the story that I read was they treated him like a deserter, AWOL, right? Now, from a stranger looking at that story, I was thinking, because he was almost ready to get out. Like his time was coming up, right? And then for some reason, he just goes missing. But he was spotted on base. Now, that base is huge. It's one of the biggest ones in the country, if not the world. But eventually he was found, and I was thinking he was having some kind of medical breakdown. He was having an episode, something like that, a mental health crisis. I don't think they treated it as that. I think he was found. They said he was apprehended and arrested and all this stuff, and now he's being charged as a deserter or something like that. So I'm like, that's pretty messed up. But he was found, and from what I know, let me look over here really quick. There was another Marine, Martin. Let me see. Missing Marine, Martin Salg, S-A-L-G. The hell was that? Staying cabin freaking me out, man. Let me see. So 5 days ago, highlandscurrent.org put out a story, and it is a Beacon man has been missing since October 5th from Camp Pendleton Marine Corps Base. The RAD movement put out the initial story. And you see here, 27-year-old, he may have been spotted in San Bernardino, about 90 minutes north of the base. His glasses, wallet, and personal belongings were left in the barracks. And it said his phone was pinging behind the building on the base for a few days, but could not be located. And that's it. So apparently this Marine is still missing. Apparently he's not on the base. And they said he might be somewhere in San Bernardino. But this was 5 days ago, and he still hasn't been found. So the search continues for that guy. I don't know if he went AWOL or if something else happened, too. That's the crazy thing. Marine life is tough. Some people cannot handle it, to be completely honest with you. And it sucks, but that's just what happens, unfortunately. So, Oh, it's getting windy. Woo! So I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but this was my biggest live stream. I just peeked over here for a second, and I think we peaked at like 1,100 people. I am super tickled about that. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you guys coming to hang out with me and listen to me run my mouth about stuff. I think we're doing good things here. I think this show can go to the moon and back if we keep going. So let's see if we can do that. If you guys are over on Rumble right now, or anywhere really, and you want to go over to Rumble and check out my page, you can click that Nug Nation button and become part of the Nug Nation. You can become a supporter, and that's what keeps these live streams live and free. And ultimately, it helps us financially, and it keeps us going, doing what we love to do, which is search for missing people and helping out families and cleaning up the environment, because God knows we need to be cleaning up the environment. And let me see here. What else? And that is about it. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Fingers crossed, tomorrow is surgery day. So you guys will know something. I promise you that. First places I'm going to be posting updates are on Facebook, Locals, and I think that's about it, because I can't post them anywhere else. So, maybe X too, but I don't have a big following on X. So if you're on if you're on Rumble and you got Twitter, go over there and find me, because I need some followers. Actually, I don't really need the followers, but I also have a nonprofit, and the nonprofit page needs to get built up too. So maybe go over there and look up Rapid Compassion Collective, rapidcc.org. That is the nonprofit. Go check it out, see what we do. It's pretty cool stuff. Other than that, I will see you guys Friday, and you will be getting updates as the day goes on tomorrow. See you then.